Grace and peace. This is Bishop Wilson, and welcome to the final session of the blind spots that sink your leadership. Over the last 4 days, we've uncovered the silent patterns that stall even the most gifted leaders. Number one was the time trap. It's where busyness replaces effectiveness. Then we turned around and we looked at the boundary breakdown, where your yes begins to cost you your mission and your purpose. Then we talked about the Lone Ranger complex, where you're trying to do everything. You're leading alone because you're the lead on the ministry. And then we looked at the communication gap, where assumptions replace alignment. But today's blind spot is perhaps one of the most dangerous because it doesn't show up in your calendar or in your team. It shows up in you as a leader. Let's confront the blind spot number 5, which is the growth block. What does it look like? The growth block happens when you're pouring into other leaders, but not pouring into yourself. It happens when you stop learning because you're always leading. You're not stopping to take that time to learn. It happens when you assume that your experience is enough to carry you forward. I don't need anything else. It happens when you master the current level that you're on, but you stop preparing for the next level. And it's not always intentional. It's not because you're lazy or the person is lazy. It's leadership on autopilot, if you will. You're doing your job, you're showing up, you're giving your best, but in reality, your own leadership development has stalled. When you stop growing your leadership, you literally start shrinking. There's no other way around it. What will it cost you? When growth stops, the consequences are quite real, especially when you're dealing with ministry and an organization. Your vision begins to stall, your creativity dries up. You start repeating what once worked instead of being innovative for what's next and looking into those things. You feel a strange sense of frustration on the inside because even though you're being productive, you're doing things, your spirit, you know that you were built for so much more than what you're doing. The leadership shift that you have to make is from the output mode to inputting discipline. Best leaders don't just give, they grow. They carve out time to grow, to evolve, to shape, to stretch, because they understand their leadership is limited by the level of their personal development. You don't grow by accident. You grow on purpose. And that growth must become a non-negotiable part of your leadership rhythm. It has to be built into the engine that makes you run. How do you break out of that growth block? You've got to recommit to personal growth. You've got to have a growth plan. What are you reading? What are you learning? What new challenges are you taking on? Growth is a system. It's not a feeling. It's a system. You've got to have it in place. You've got to schedule it. You've got to track it. You've got to commit to it. And you've got to get around voices that will challenge you. You can't grow. And I know you've heard this said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you got to seek out mentors. You got to get into masterminds. You got to take courses like this. You got to get with a coach that will stretch your thinking and sharpen your skills. Isolation isn't just lonely, it's limiting. You've got to have a way to track your progress quarterly also. Every 90 days, you ought to ask yourself, what did I learn this quarter? In what area of my leadership did I stretch in this quarter? What's the next area that I need to develop in me as a leader? If you're not growing, I promise you, you're drifting. Awareness brings alignment. So the coaching prompt that I want to leave with you today is to ask yourself today, Have I stopped growing because I'm too focused on leading others? And I need you to be honest with yourself. You've got to ask yourself, where do I need to invest in myself again? And this is not selfish. This is self-care. You can't lead from overflow if your well is empty. So I want to challenge you today and the rest of this week to commit to one new growth input this month. A new book, a new mentor, a new course, a new retreat that we're starting a new course on Monday. It'll be every Monday. We're going to be talking about preaching with a time limit. And it's going to be really good. I think you're going to enjoy it. I want you to tune into that. But you've got to put yourself in a position of learning, because what's next will require more than what you've already mastered. And the proof of that is you would already be there if you already had everything that you needed. You can't keep what you got and think that you could go higher. You've got to add more value to yourself, more learning. So in conclusion, you've made it to the end of the 5 blind spots that sink your leadership. You've identified the patterns. You've felt the shifts that you need to take. You've been challenged to lead on a higher level. So let this final lesson seal it all. You don't grow by chance. You grow by choice. And you have to make that choice as a leader. And your leadership will never rise higher than your willingness to invest in yourself as a leader. So keep growing, keep stretching, keep building the kind of leadership that lasts, because the kingdom of God, the calling, the people that are connected to you, they deserve a leader who leads without blind spots. So thank you for walking through this journey with me. I pray that something that I've said in these last 5 days has helped you as a leader so that you can lead with greater clarity, greater confidence, greater conviction. But I want you to know that you don't have to do it alone. This is not something you have to do alone. If you're ready to take your leadership staff, your entire ministry to that next level, then I want to offer you customized in-person or virtual leadership workshops that are designed specifically for your church, your leadership, the things that you need for your ministry. I want to work with you directly if that's something that you need. I want to help you to build systems that can help your church to run more smoothly, to develop custom lessons and trainings and course material for you and your leaders. I want to help you to conduct leadership assessments and even offer personal coaching to you as a pastor, or group sessions with your staff, whatever you need to help you to grow. We can also help you, which is a very critical area, in brainstorming sessions to strategize for sustainable church growth. I don't just teach leadership, I help ministries to structure. I'm Bishop Martin Wilson, strategic ministry consultant, AI prompt developer, and I'd love to help you to clarify your vision and strengthen your team. Let's build something that grows with you and long after you. So reach out to me today. Let's talk. Let's find out what's possible. Until next time, remember, God's the greatest power, and you are absolutely not defeated. God bless.